On this eerily calm January night, a weary Desmond Cornfoot is perched in his usual pickup place, underneath the big tree behind the decaying park pavilion. He looks shifty, doesn't he? Well, he's waiting for someone, you see. Waiting for whom, you ask? I'm going to call this mysterious someone Godot. Because, well, Godot is me. Desmond's expectations for the evening are as hazy as his mind, but he intends to exchange his moolah for some of my famed merchandise. Little does he know it, but the events of this night will lead to his epiphany. Desmond, who prefers to be known by the wretched nickname Dezza, is a 23-year-old trainee IT technician and certified insomniac who still lives with his battle axe of a mother. To make up for his lack of a social life, he frequently attends the local historical society's medieval battle reenactments.
I don't think the troops they were expecting there were so many miners down there. Don't look like they've killed him, but they have certainly captured him.
Although his enthusiasm has waned somewhat after getting a good old whack in the bollocks from a badly wielded wooden shield. In fact, he isn't too enthusiastic about many things in life, apart from his two true loves: Norwegian death metal and Nazi-themed pornography. Contrary to what everyone believes, Dezza insists he isn't actually a virgin, and claims he once went the full hog with a Geordie girl called Lexi at Centre Parks. Actual proof of the act, or of Lexi, has always remained elusive. Tonight is one of those blissfully quiet nights when his whinging old hag of a mother isn't at home, and so he endeavours to lose himself in the medicinal haze of the Mary Jane, the ganja, the devil's lettuce, the wacky backy, or whatever the fuck the youth call it nowadays. As time ambles by and Desmond starts to get jittery, a middle-aged woman turns up and stands underneath the tree without saying a word. Hang on, this is not the Godot he's expecting. Fuck, thinks Desmond. Is she a Fed? Does she know me, ma'am? Is she real? To avoid the onset of full-blown paranoia, Dezza offers her a cigarette and tries his best attempt at small talk. Few words are said, but she reveals that she's also waiting for Godot, aka yours truly. This unexpected new arrival goes by the name of Heather Hogwood. Outwardly, Heather portrays herself as a successful businesswoman, when in reality she wears that creased Matalan suit and sits in a call centre for 8 hours a day. On the occasions when she isn't soberly staring at the call centre carpet while contemplating the utter futility of her job, she can usually be found berating her wheezy co-worker Kenny for breathing too loudly. Fuck's sake, Kenny. She bloody hates her job, but she also bloody loves her 2 kids. Heather tries to be a loving mother as best she can, but she silently resents the life they've given her. Oh, to be young, single and free again, eh, Heather? Luckily for Mrs. Hogwood, tonight is one of those blissfully quiet nights when the kids are staying with their dad and she can lose herself to fantasy. To escape from her mundane, quotidian existence, she too smokes Godot's magic herbs. They wait and wait. Nothing to be done. Increasingly agitated Heather has had enough and decides to scarp her and just buy a bottle of Lambrini instead, leaving Desmond all alone again. Just as Desmond breathes a sigh of relief for his newfound solitude, he's joined under the tree by 2 more characters: a hench guy with a menacing walk and a basketball under his arm, and a rather dapper chap with a piercing gaze. Hang on a sec. Neither of these are Godot either. Now Dezza is really starting to get jittery. But before he even has the chance to assess the situation, the more burly of the two, Seymour Legg, starts to confidently proclaim the joys of pumping iron and eating a heavy protein diet while displaying his favourite Lady Slayer poses. You're preaching to the wrong crowd here, mate. Seymour goes on to explain how his vain quest for an Adonis-like physique, coupled with his penchant for misogyny, often triggers the onset of an involuntary outburst of muscle fibre activity. In other words, he can't help but flex his buff muscular frame when faced with female company. As Seymour tells his reluctant listener, he was shopping in his local Asda when he offered to help a 65-year-old employee at the store named Janice with her bags. His innocent, kind deed soon turned almost deadly. His clumsy parody of a Mr. Olympia pose went awry, and his flailing forearm unwittingly knocked the poor woman flat out with concussion. Seymour was himself hit, with a 6-month community order. The things people do for gains, eh? Like the others we've had the pleasure of encountering, Mr. Legg also enjoys Godot's goods, especially when taking his loyal Jack Russell for a brisk nighttime walk along the stark Scarborough seafront. When Seymour finally stops his incessant chatter, Desmond finally meets the intimidating eyes of the other guy. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Eugene Bronson. Eugene has a widespread reputation around town for being an eccentric dandy, suited and booted at all times, whatever the weather. And let me tell you, the weather around here is usually pretty bleak, to be honest. He obsesses about every meticulous hair and fibre on his being, constantly grooming himself with his lint roller and portable trimmer. Hell, he'd even shag himself if he could. Despite appearances, he disdains and reviles how people mistake his self-assuredness for narcissism, maintaining there's nothing wrong with a bit of confidence. To be honest, they do have a point. Almost every time Eugene eats out, he's looking for any excuse to call out the fucking terrible table service of inferior sorts, and makes sure to vent his displeasure with a scathing TripAdvisor review. And for all these poor girls he's cruelly stood up, he's nothing but a heartless bastard who only thinks of himself. Eugene occasionally smokes some of Godot's lush Acapulco Gold, if only to pretend he's like everyone else for a short while. Both Seymour and Eugene decide to leave shortly after their initial greetings, mainly due to not wanting to be associated with Deza the Dosser. Before departing, both men brief Desmond on how they are in fact messengers for Godot, telling him that I may be a little bit later than expected, but I'll surely come. Desmond, eager for answers and some fucking semblance of reality, tries in vain to find out about Godot before the men finally depart. Desmond waits and waits. Nothing to be done. Desmond is now desperate for Godot and his vital supply of that night-night serum. And then, to his utter bewilderment, he's suddenly joined by Heather and Seymour and Eugene again. To his utter horror, none of the three remember Desmond, and they start introducing themselves all over again. Deza stands there, mouth ajar, completely unable to process the situation. Even more perplexingly, the two men then inform Desmond that Godot is not coming. Desmond, utterly baffled out of his bonds, insists he has met them before, and had literally spoken to these nutters only moments ago. Desmond finally decides it's all too much, and leaves empty-handed, with only the ghostly chatter of the strangest voices echoing around his tormented head. Nothing to be done.